Definitely as a community, like Beatlemania was a thing, and Beatlemaniacs would be what you call them. So I would probably have to, all jokes aside, identify as that. My name is Anthony Gay, and I am a Beatlemaniac. Nowadays, it's the intense appreciation of music. Back then, I think it was just this craze of teenage girls just really falling in love with these four blokes and just encapsulating everything they are into their lives, you know. It was such a big thing to look like them. Kids were dressing up like them. They really brought back like these swanky suits, and people were starting to dress a bit nicer. And then they went to the psychedelic phase, and people just kept copying them with like the colours and like because they had like the communist grey suits at the start. Like people really got into all that. I mean, and you'd see footage now of Beatlemania in like '63 and '64 when they were at like their height. And people are just, everybody in the crowd is dressed either like them or in a shirt or holding signs. I mean, and now, as you said, it is just a shift towards like the appreciation of the memorabilia and the music and the culture that they instilled in everybody. So it is different, but the same, really. I think I might have been studying for like prelim HSC exams. I just got really, really, really into them. Started listening to all the albums just from 1 to 10, like just from first song to last song, just really getting like exactly how that should be listened to. That just started a massive wave of everything. I did go to Abbey Road and the studios, and then I actually, as weird as this sounds, saw Paul McCartney's house and their childhood homes, and then I went to the Cavern Club, which is where they originally started playing. And yeah, I went to Penny Lane, which is one of the greatest songs, lyric-wise. I'm not going to lie to you, I cried a little bit after walking across the crossing. I had a bit of a breakdown. Seeing Paul McCartney live in Tokyo as well, before I knew he was coming here, I flew over there. And I cried a lot, like 6 times during the concert. Again, just like it was this overwhelming, like, wow, it's really, really him. And I couldn't describe how great and incredibly happy I was. So it's definitely Paul, like without a question. I listened to all Paul's stuff. I mean, Ringo had some really terrible music post Beatles. John kind of went that whole political route. George was really, really poppy. But Paul had he like changed every album so vastly from the last, and it's he's hands down my favourite. I mean, I flew to Japan for him, so yeah. I mean, it happened a lot during the 50s and 60s. Like Elvis through the 50s, everyone went mad for him, and then the Beatles came. I think they were, especially with like this disarray from religion starting to build, I think people were kind of clinging to other things other than church. And then I think the Beatles was the next step. There's such an array of music there, so you've got again everything from like psychedelic punk rock to heavy metal with Helter Skelter, which is the first heavy metal song, to like all that real like edgy 60s stuff at the start, you know, with like the high snares and stuff like that. And then you've also got like this prog rock towards the end, and then the real acoustic sessions like Blackbird and Yesterday and stuff like that with big strings. There's such a plethora of music there. I think that really keeps, I mean, myself and other people engaged and active in that community. So a weird example, I was on a cruise ship once and they had a Beatles night, and just the amount of people that really, like, they had ties on, they dressed up in like the Peppers outfits, all this stuff. I mean, there was hundreds of people that were really, really on board with the Beatles. They were all young people there, and I mean, all these 20-somethings knew every single word, and there was it was such a feeling of togetherness that you really connect like that, you know. And it's a very, very distinctive feeling. Like, we both really love the Beatles, so automatically your friends, they could be the world's worst person, but you'd still have a commonality, and it's a really, really interesting concept to think about. Such a plethora of items out there that you can buy. Anything from, say, the White Album, every album of the original print had a serial number in the bottom right hand corner. I mean, the first 4 went to the Beatles, but now there's just, I mean, you look it up, and if you try and get one in like the first even 10,000, you're looking at so many thousands and thousands of dollars. But yeah, you can buy, especially if you're into albums and whatnot, you can really get some neat stuff. Like that's an original '67 print. And yeah, it's just a lot of the stuff it's a lot of money, but people do invest in it. It is a really big worldwide thing. Like, for example, Abbey Road, it just had the 50th re-release, the remaster and stuff, and it just hit #1 in the UK above Post Malone and all these new artists. I mean, if that's not an indication of their influence and their significance now, I don't know what is.